All right, my friends, it's time to get to the serious subject here of gun control or more guns. What will make the difference with these shootings? Now, let's take a look at some of the previous occurrences in the past, I don't know, a couple months or so. Let's go to February 14th, 2008. 27-year-old man goes on a rampage. Northern Illinois University shoots 21 people, kills 5, and later himself. And this is the guy, by the way, this is the quintessential situation where the gunman is, well, he was such a nice young man. He was intelligent. He was doing well in school. We can't figure out why he would do a thing like this. Apparently he went off his meds and just started shooting. We had February 8th, nursing student shoots 2 women and then herself in the classroom at Louisiana Technical College outside Baton Rouge. Just goes to prove that girls can do it too. I mean, there's just a ton of these out here. Oxnard, California, 14-year-old shoots a 15-year-old classmate in school, later dies of his injuries. Law enforcement says, oh, there was bad blood between the two. We had the case, of course, the gunman kills 6 people, including himself, in a schoolhouse, an Amish schoolhouse. No guns allowed at the Amish schoolhouse. You know, they don't even have cars over there or telephones or anything else. This guy knew that he could kill whoever he wanted without anybody bothering him there. That was in Lancaster, PA. Of course, we had the terrible tragedy in Virginia Tech. 32 people killed, and then the gunman finally turns the gun on himself. And I mean, really, the solution to this is if we can find some way of mind control to get these dirtbags to shoot themselves first before they do anything else, that would solve the problem. Unfortunately, that's not going to work. So the question then becomes, what can we do? Well, you know, on the left, we need more gun control. We've got to get rid of handguns. We've got to get rid of assault weapons. We've got to get rid of the high-capacity magazines. We need more controls. And we already have so many gun control bills and laws on the books now, you can't even count them anymore. And we're going to demonstrate that in just a moment. The other side of this is more guns may actually make us safer. In Utah, for example, students are allowed to carry concealed weapons if they pass the background check, if they have a concealed weapons carry permit. And I believe that that's the only state in the nation that has that. Well, one of my guests here is shaking his head. Okay, it's one of the only states in the nation that allows that. But, you know, I can't remember the last time I heard of a gunman shooting anybody on a Utah campus. Can you? So we're going to talk about that right now, both sides of the issue. Let me introduce our guests for you tonight here on Night Talk. Right next to me here is Thomas Kane. He's the author of a new book called Protect Yourself at College. And we're going to talk a little bit about that book because it's a brand new book and it's just being published. In fact, it just went to the publisher, I think, today, I think he said. Yeah. And we have Kim Stolfer, who returning to the program. Kim is chairman for the Firearm Owners Against Crime, and he's also a legislative committee chairman of the Allegheny County Sportsmen's League. Thomas, Kim, welcome to Night Talk.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thomas, I'm going to start with you because you've got your new book here, Protect Yourself at College, and he's given me a galley copy of this. I'll just hold this up like one of these cameras here. I'll pick this up. Here we go. And you can take a look at this. You said this went to publisher?
Well, it's actually it's going to be shipped from the printer tomorrow and from Illinois to my publisher in D.C. Okay. So they should have it by Friday. I'll get the first copies probably the end of next week.
Okay.
And it should be throughout the country. Every Borders in the country has now picked it up. So it'll be in the bookstores hopefully by April 1st.
Okay, so you've got subtitles here, Life in the Dorms, Greek Life and Hazing, Alcohol and Drugs, Dating, Spring Break, Cybercrime. I would imagine date rape is in here someplace.
As well, yeah.
Okay, well, what about, but you know, all of that's great, and you do need to have, you know, kids and their parents understand how to protect themselves from those kinds of things, and you know, the drinking and the hazing and all that other stuff, and the cybercrime and everything else that happens at college. But do you have a chapter on protecting yourself from these crazy gunmen?
What I have is yes, it's not a chapter. We broke that down. Listen, you can get shot anywhere on campus. So what we did is I tried to find one of the best experts in the country. I did that. I think one of the best in the country.
And who is that?
A guy named Dr. Jason Winkle.
Okay.
He's from the Indiana State University. And
Kim, are you familiar with him?
No.
Okay, all right.
Dr. Winkle is one of the best that I found, one of the best that I interviewed.
And what's his area of expertise?
His area of expertise is all broken down in here. It's a significant resume. He's the let's just go right to it. Like,
all right.
So I don't want to misquote exactly.
Well,
Dr. Winkle's.
Okay. I don't want
to give you an idea. I mean, he's a director of combatives for the United States Military Academy. He teaches close quarters battle tactics, hostage. He instructs high school and college administrators on active shooter situations.
Okay.
So what he did, he travels the country doing this. He actually gave me specifications of what happens in most active shooter situations. Listen, every active shooter situation is unique, whether a shooter takes out one person or we saw in Illinois 7. So they're all unique situations. I mean, there was a shooter, a 6-year-old boy, brought a handgun to school in 2000 and killed a 6-year-old student. It's the youngest student ever killed in a classroom situation. So every situation is unique. But Dr. Winkle gave me very, very good tips and suggestions for what you can do. Nowhere in this book.
All right. Well, okay. Let's say we got. Let's say a wild gunman. We're in a classroom and a wild gunman comes in and starts shooting. What are you supposed to do?
Well, there's a lot of things. And
don't read to me from the book. Just tell me here.
Well, there's a lot of things. And listen, as Dr. Winkle specified, and as every chief of police and police officer specified, there's no one good answer that you're going to do. Every situation is different. Let's use a latest example out in Illinois. That was a large group room. The students out there did a tremendous job of, since it was a lecture room, which is stadium seating. They did an incredible job of hitting the deck, crawling between the rows of chairs, and getting out of the room.
Okay, so your answer is to run and hide, essentially.
I'm not saying run and hide, but I think you need to protect yourself.
Is one of your suggestions having your own concealed weapon?
No.
Not at all. You wouldn't even consider that?
No.
All right, hold that thought. Kim Stolfer is going to weigh in just a moment, and we'll be right back on Night Talk. Our number, 412-333-PCNC. All right, and the phone number here is 412-333-PCNC if you have a question or a comment for our guests. All right, we're going to turn to Kim now, Chairman of the Firearm Owners Against Crime. Kim, you and I have talked about this before, and you sent me a ton of information about this. This is a huge list. I don't know how many cases of this goes back to 1988, 1974. There's a ton of cases here of school shootings, and then there was the one that's not in here because it didn't involve a school, but they all have something in common. There was the one in Omaha that just happened a short time ago, and it was a mall. And at this mall, and this is the key, this is the similarity among all of these cases. This mall had signs, gun-free zone, no handguns, no guns of any kind at this mall. So why do the crazies pick schools and malls with those signs about no guns? And the reason is?
For the same reason they don't pick police stations and they don't pick gun clubs to shoot up. Because they understand that there's a target-rich environment and they can advance their agenda and get their message heard by a willing accomplice media in some cases at showing exactly what they want and glorifying in their violence.
Wait a minute, what do you mean willing accomplice media? Tell me about that.
Well, they'll put their names, they'll make them stars overnight like they did with the Columbine shooters and all the others. And a number of these instances are incestuously interwoven with certain other shootings where people use that shooting as a catalyst for their own ends.
Right, because they want to outdo the other guy and make a name for themselves.
Exactly.
Yeah, we had there was the Omaha shooter, as a matter of fact.
Yes.
He left letters saying that he was going to go out with a bang. He wanted to be famous, and that's precisely why he did this.
Yeah, Virginia Tech had elements of that too.
Okay, so Tom, you agree with that?
I agree with what Kim had said in terms of why these guys want to do. They listen.
No. Pardon me. Let me make this clear. Do you agree that they pick these places because they are target rich?
Oh, absolutely.
And because they're unlikely to get shot at themselves?
I don't know if it's necessarily the second step, unnecessarily to get shot at, but they pick a target-rich environment, absolutely. And they want to make a name, as Kim said. They want to be known, and the media gives them that platform.
That's true.
So they know that going into this thing.
All right, Kim, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I'd like to set the stage for this, because what this involves is individuals that are 21 years of age or older, students, faculty, and in some cases citizens who visit on the campus, are individuals that are licensed. They've gone through the background checks. They can have their license pulled at any moment for any binge drinking, any argument they get into, because a concealed carry license is dependent not only on your background, but also your reputation and behavior.
That's exactly right.
Okay, now, the element of this is that these are 21 years of age or older. Keep in mind that about 10% of every university has veterans armed services individuals that in many cases are better trained than law enforcement that's going to respond to the situation.
They're attending classes, or in some cases they're teaching classes.
Exactly.
Okay.
Now you have a situation where when you go onto a campus in Pennsylvania or across the country, except for Oregon and Utah, where you're told you have to check your rights at the door. And we find that to be a terrible message to send. And as a matter of fact, what I sent you was in 1996 to 1966, this is the list. This is all there was of the school shootings. Since then, and since these experts that are quoted in this book, and I'm sure they all sympathize, and all these chiefs of police and all these law enforcement officials, what they haven't told you is there's 57 more examples since 1996 when we had gun-free school zones, and people have died because it's like you said.
Wait a minute, what happened in 1996?
They passed the Gun-Free School Zones Act.
So are you telling me that prior to 1996, if you had a concealed weapons permit, you could carry a gun?
In many cases. In many cases, in many states, unless it was prohibited by state law.
And so you had a handful of incidents, as you showed there,
yes,
prior to that, from